so many innovations have actually ended up damaging the interests of women, particularly. They're treated, and I've come across this India and Bangladesh, Somalia to an extent. They get a loan and they become a sort of loan machine for the man to use the loan or even drink the loan. Maybe a mobile phone can perform the same function. Have you had examples of this? Have you found ways of overcoming them?
Do you want to talk to that? I don't need to be the one to always answer the women's questions. I've got guys who are fantastically enlightened.
Very true.
I think you have some good answers. I know, Nazim.
I think if you design the right product and give women access, for us in some of the business we invested in, the default ratio is almost non-existent. Non-existent, the default ratio on a loan, right? Lending, and so it's. No, I think no, not really. I think that could be, but it's kind of a. Women are very, very thoughtful about how they are running the businesses because they have family to feed and so on. And kind of structure it that way, and are very, very entrepreneurial. But if you give them the right access to product, if they have to walk into a dark alley to get that loan, then so be it. But if you can get access to a good product efficiently at a good cost point through what they can access very safely, it's phenomenal what's happening. So I think the model from even 3-4 years ago has shifted a lot, and it's continued to shift in a direction which is making financial services accessible in a very, very different way.
But this comes back to we need to stay vigilant around thinking about human-centered design and involving women in co-designing the products and services that they're benefiting from. And I think you guys have such great examples in your portfolios around that. And really then monitoring afterwards and not just sort of taking it for granted. We often, as investors, we put so much of the energy into due diligence and then getting the deal done, and then what happens in the monitoring and the impact management afterwards. And so I think it's really imperative to be saying, if we're aiming for positive social outcomes as much as financial, how are we doing that in terms of the monitoring and and not to over-monitor and not to over-measure, but to do it appropriately so that we're getting the outcomes that we're all hoping for. And as an investor, I've got a lot of choices about what I can invest in. I'm going to go for the funds and the vehicles who are paying attention to that the best.
I think it's also, you have to be careful because there's a lot of noise, right? When we talk about thousands of companies, there are a lot of crappy companies out there. And really, this shouldn't be a businesses, right? And people have this mindset. Suddenly, when I started, there was no such thing as fintech 9 years ago when we started Anthemis, and now everyone my LinkedIn is fintech expert, right? And the concept that if you wear jeans, you're an entrepreneur, right? It doesn't work. This is really, really tough business to build. A very complex environment. It takes a lot of energy to build them, and I think we, as an industry, have to be vigilant that we don't just kind of feed crappy businesses and saying these are solving for needs. They're not. They're just products and features often. But they really focused, disruptive businesses are doing some amazing things out there.